Welcome to Talking Climate with Katherine Hayhoe. Each episode, we explore how climate change is affecting the people, places, and things we love, and what we can do to make a difference. From science to solutions and stories that inspire, you're in the right place for real talk about real change. This week, we're talking about nature's climate heroes and the risks they face, and climate action that fits your life. Let's dive in. Good news. Unchecked climate change and biodiversity loss are projected to lead to what many scientists are calling the sixth extinction. But scientists are also increasingly realizing that wildlife is part of the solution to climate change as well. Wild animals help sequester carbon, cycle nutrients, contribute to the health of their ecosystem, and can even affect the reflectivity of the planet. In Africa, forest elephants, the smallest of the world's 3 elephant species, help forests sequester nearly 2,500 tons of carbon during their lifetime, thanks to the way they forage. One study found that forests in the Congo Basin that are home to elephants store 7% more carbon than forests that lack these gardeners of the Congo. In the oceans, kelp forests, tended by sea otters, can sequester up to 12 times more carbon than forests not tended by them. That's because sea otters love to eat sea urchins, who can chow down on entire strands of kelp if left unchecked. And whales are like giant redwoods of the ocean. Over their lifetimes, they sequester atmospheric carbon in their bodies. And by feeding deep in the ocean and expelling waste near the surface, whales stimulate phytoplankton growth, which takes up even more carbon. In Antarctica, penguins help keep things cool. How, you might wonder? Well, the ammonia particles in their guano aid in the formation of low clouds, which reflects some sunlight back out into space. And I've written before about how beavers, if left to their own devices, can create new wetlands that sequester carbon and provide critical habitat for other creatures. These are just a few of the many examples showing how healthy wildlife helps regulate carbon and climate. That's why it's such great news that, at the meeting I attended in Abu Dhabi last October, the International Union for Conservation of Nature adopted a resolution that recognized the role wild animals play in climate mitigation. Animals are amazing. If we protect them, they can protect us. Not so good news. The faster the planet warms, the more impacts it's having on wildlife. While risks like habit loss or heat stress are more obvious, scientists are also detecting subtle but equally worrisome impacts on biological mechanisms that determine reproduction, food availability, and even sex. Last year, I wrote about how hundreds of amphibian species could reach the limit of their heat tolerance. But there's another way heat imperils reptiles. The sex of many lizards, snakes, crocodiles, and more is determined by temperature. Each species is impacted differently by warmer temperatures. Hotter temperatures mean more female turtles, but more male alligators and crocodiles. In a warming world, entire generations of sexually reproducing reptiles will be dramatically skewed male or female, with one study predicting nearly single-sex generations of alligators by the year 2100. Climate change has also shifted breeding season for Antarctic penguins forward by almost 3 weeks, according to a new decade-long study. We are very concerned because penguins are now breeding earlier than in any known records, the report's lead author, Dr. Ignacio Juarez Martinez, says. Penguins could end up breeding at times when their prey is not available yet. This could result in a lack of food for the penguin chicks in the first weeks of their life, which could be fatal. Even if the penguins could match their prey's behavior, we can't expect them to keep this pace up much longer. These examples show how profoundly climate change is reshaping life itself, from skewed sex ratios to mistimed breeding and vanishing food supplies. The unprecedented rate of human-caused warming is unraveling relationships that species have depended on for millennia. What you can do. When we take climate-positive actions, those choices can ripple beyond our own lives. What we do changes us, and what we say and show changes others around us too. That's the biggest reason why personal action matters, not because any one behavior will solve climate change on its own, but because they help shift social norms, build collective efficacy, and inspire others to act as well. Each choice we make, big or small, can be a catalyst for broader change. That's why every year I adopt 1 or 2 new climate-friendly habits. Some have been small, adding a smart thermostat to save energy, finding new plant-based recipes to add to my regular cooking rotation, or swapping out laundry and dish soap for plastic-free and petrochemical-free alternatives. Yes, did you know that most commercial detergents are petroleum-based? Some changes have been bigger, like selling the freezer and changing my shopping habits to cut our food waste, signing up for a wind energy plan after we sold our home with solar panels, or going car-free for nearly 3 years. Other changes I've made have been less tangible. Last year's goal was to deliberately choose to spend more time with the people we love, in the places we love, doing the things we love, because this is what gives us the motivation to act and to care. This year, my goal is to systemically rethink and rework how I do climate communication, to ensure it is as effective and collaborative as possible. Pulling plugs is never easy, but I've already exited one project that was taking up time and energy without results, and identified 2 new ones to lean into that I hope will have greater impact, including adding 3 new video series to Talking Climate. I'm catching up with past guest editors in What's the Latest, sharing my thoughts with Tea with Catherine, and responding to troll posts with Hot Takes, Cold Facts. If you haven't seen them yet, please check them out and let me know what you think. Many of the actions that help address climate change also make our day-to-day lives better, healthier, more affordable, and more connected. So your action this week is to find a resolution that makes sense with your own life and combine your personal resolutions with climate actions. Want to get healthier? Choose plant-based recipes or switch to biking or walking whenever possible. Want to make this the year of financial responsibility? Move your money to a bank that invests in green energy and divests from fossil fuels. Want to read more and scroll less? Make at least 1 book you pick up this year be about climate action. Want to cut your doom scrolling short and instead focus on change that catalyzes action? Don't we all need this? Seek out climate solutions by following this newsletter or any of the creators I mentioned in previous editions. Want to make new friends or be more social? Consider joining a climate action group. Need more inspiration? Take a look at the 6 most impactful actions you can take and check out the newsletter archive linked in the show notes. There are so many different ways to engage in climate action, and the most important thing you can do is something, anything, then talk about it. Thanks for listening to Talking Climate, narrated by Ann Cloud. For more resources, links, and actions you can take, check out the full newsletter at www.talkingclimate.ca. Don't underestimate your voice. Start a conversation this week and see where it leads.